Namaste and good evening to one and all. Welcome to Leaders Connect 360's episode LC0166. Leaders Connect 360 is a CSR initiative by Bija Training and organized by the Mask Leadership. I'm Rashmi Malapur, content curator and founder of Research Eye, a team of content writers and storytellers. Leaders Connect 360 started with the specific objective of inviting 1,000 plus leaders and create a million leaders. It is an online hub where every Wednesday from 6:30 p.m. to 7:15 p.m. we learn from the top management leaders on Zoom Live, and once in a quarter in each city we have an offline networking meet to network, support and grow with the leaders. That's when we call Leaders Create More Leaders. Currently, we all are muted and we will be giving you an opportunity to speak to our guest, Mr. Chandra Moulish, Marketing and Business Strategist, and panel discussion leader, Ms. Alagu Lakshmanan, NLP Life Coach, founder, ALisWELL. Before you're muted, let me share that we are currently live on LinkedIn and this episode, LC016, is being recorded. First time visitors may click on the WhatsApp, FB, and LinkedIn link on the chat box to get updated by joining us in creating more leaders. All in house are requested to turn on your videos, which will help in making the episode highly interactive. So, are we all ready to interact with our guest and panel discussion leader? Then share a thumbs up or a smiley emoji in the chat box. Thank you. Before the introduction of the guest, let me also introduce Mr. Pankaj, Managing Partner, Bija Training, who will interact with our guest along with the panel discussion leader, Mrs. Alagu Lakshmanan. I shall welcome you all. Over to you, Mr. Pankaj.
Thank you so much, Ms. Rashmi. Good evening, everyone. Good evening, one and all. Special mention to our guest, Mr. Chandra Moulish. And I welcome everyone on behalf of Bija Training, the Master Leadership, and the Leaders Connect. Thank you for taking our time. So before we move forward, the topic itself is so, we people have been talking about it, but how this is being implemented, that is what we are going to learn today with our guest, Mr. Chandra Moulish. And the topic for today is customer-centric leadership in marketing. And yes, customer is God, that's what we say. But when we talk about the customer centricity, what it is, practice. So we'll learn it from our guest today. So before we move forward, let me share the agenda for the day. So after the panel discussion, we are going to have a small quiz and let's see what people have learned, what our guest is going to share. After that, we are going to have open Q&A. So quiz will be done by with Uma, and then there'll be a summary and then we a vote of thanks. So before we move forward, I would like to officially welcome our guest in our panel discussion later, Ms. Uma. So Arul, can we have the welcome video, please? Thank you so much, Arul. And here we welcome you officially, Mr. Chandra Moulish, to our forum.
Thank you so much, Mr. Pankaj. It's a pleasure connecting here. Thanks, Mr. Arul, also to invited me here.
Right, thank you. So I give it to you, Ms. Alagu, for the panel discussion. So, Ms. Alagu, you can take it over from here. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Pankaj, and most welcome to the session, Mr. Chandra Moulish, Balasubramanian. And I think you're the best person to discuss the current topic today, customer-centric leadership. And I see your profile very interesting. You have done a course on, I heard the course only from your profile for the first time, where it says, could you just explain on that very shortly? Then we can move ahead with our questions today.
I'm basically a person right from my schooling. I'm very fond of science because I felt science is involved in a lot of things in our daily life. So even during my school days, I used to perform well in my science subjects compared to my other language or the mathematics. And coming from a background of medicine, my grandfather was a doctor and my father was a pharmacologist. So I always had this fascination to work towards medicine, which is a part of daily life. And I took up this course, which was specifically only in the University of Madras. It's not there in any other colleges. This is a basic platform to handle hospital management.
Okay.
So that is how I started learning, and sociology was always a fascinating subject because it is more about interaction between different people.
A very interesting subject, medical sociology. I'm hearing it for the first time. And like you said, I think it's available only in University of Madras.
Yes, that's basically a course which is created for people who are coming from medical tourism for medical counseling. So people don't have much of knowledge. So you need to have the art of explaining to people about, how it is done in hospitals.
Very interesting. So coming to the topic today, how do you think leaders can ensure that customer feedback is effectively integrated into marketing strategies? So getting the feedback is one, and inculcating that into the strategy is the main part.
See, all through my career, I've seen multiple business domains. As an employee for more than 15 years, I worked in the real estate field. I've seen the transformation of real estate from a more unprofessional base to more of a professional transformation post 2013, when the big people started coming into Tamil Nadu to invest in real estate. So I've seen the transformation happening. That is all because of how customers reacted to industry. So personally, if you see in real estate, personally handled about 30,000 customers in my career over 15 years. So this is a big asset that I have in life, that I had the opportunity to interact with 30,000 people who are aspiring to buy homes. I don't know, out of 30,000 people, I would have sold only roughly about 3,500 to 4,000. But every interaction that I had with the customer was an experience. So what we started doing is like the perception of real estate changed in 2013. Earlier, developers were pushing their property. So any product that you felt, any manufacturer, anything in the market, people are pushing the product to the customer rather than what the customer wants.
It's correct.
So then the feedback mechanism, I think, ISO certification played a major role. I think after that, if you see, people started changing their strategies towards feedback mechanism.
Yeah.
So, and we started understanding that customer feedback and customer's requirement is the primary factor for you to define your product.
Yeah, definitely. All said and done, end of the day, we have to cater to the needs of the customer.
Absolutely, absolutely. I think, in my career, I think the role that I played at Jones Lang LaSalle JLL, it is a Fortune 500 company like the big four of KPMG and PwC in real estate. So I've been, I worked there as a key strategist there. One thing we've always felt is, developers in the industry don't understand the requirement of the customers. So that's where we played a key role in telling the developer, but this is the requirement which is available there. Don't push your product what you want.
Correct.
Understand what client wants, understand what the customer's interest is, and you push your product based on that. So that is how success ratio started building in real estate. And now you see real estate has become a very dominating domain across India, at least.
Yeah. Everything can be customized there.
Yeah, I think now, not just real estate, I am seeing that in every domain.
True. Yeah.
Every domain I am seeing in manufacturing, in healthcare, everywhere you see now products are developed based on customers' interest.
Definitely. Like Pankaj said, the customer is the god.
Absolutely.
And what are the key traits you think a customer-centric leader should possess, or they have? If a person is a customer-centric leader, what is the characteristics or traits they possess?
I would always say brand empathy is very important.
Okay.
I have transformed myself from more a sales and marketing person and a strategist to more of a brand strategist currently.
Okay.
That's what I do for my own company now. What I always understand is best leaders are always who have brand empathy. Brand empathy is something which will connect with your customers. You create your brand. Reason is not because you want an asset. You want that to be publicized in your people, and it conveys your message, what you want to tell them, what kind of a character that you possess. This first defines you that what kind of a leader you are. Sorry, I had an interruption.
No.
That this actually defines what kind of a leader you are. And I think as you said, the first point also has a relation to this. He also needs to have interest in knowing what the client feedback is.
Okay.
And he has to have his own vision, which has to be communicated to his subordinates and employees. This way I think he can become a good leader.
So the branding and the customer need has to be aligned when you say.
So to aptly say, it is more of customer loyalty. That brings customers again to you. So it doesn't become a one-time association.
Okay. So correct me if I'm wrong. So you mean to say the customer has to look at your brand as your product.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Today in the market, when you go to a superstores or supermarket, people always go for a primary brand like HUL or ITC, right? They have multiple products, but the trust that these companies
They
have
have
built
the
over a
brand,
period of time with them, and now you see Tata also aggressively coming in the market in consumer industry. So people like Tata who hold a highly reputed brand over a period of long time. So people don't think twice to buy that product.
Definitely.
That's because of the customer loyalty or the brand loyalty that they have built over a period of time.
Yeah.
So that is more important. That is why these days are leaders in India today.
Yeah. So now in this technology world and the AI world, how do you think that can be leveraged in a customer-centric organization, and how a leadership can integrate that to enhance the marketing efforts, basically?
It is, how you automate your system. Basically, you will have to transform yourself from, being a person who will verbally communicate with them than to more of a automated system of communication to customers on a constant basis. I think now with all the social media or the mobile applications that we have today, like Zepto and Big Basket, name it, all the e-commerce apps have become a huge tool in terms of technology to reach to consumers.
Definitely, yeah.
That's a huge breakthrough. Apart from that, I think you should also look at coming up with innovations using AI. AI, basically, everybody today says AI, but AI has to be used properly. AI is only used to analyze the data metrics of consumers, what they want, and their feedbacks. So that has to be implemented a part of our system today.
Yeah.
Because we don't have leaders, basically, they don't have time to analyze all the feedback in one shot unless it is properly automated and technology is properly utilized.
Yeah.
But
So should use them.
We have the platform right away with us.
Okay, you have a platform. Okay. So you mean to say, like, we have to put the best use of the technology available.
Best use of the
Put
technology.
the best to the clients, yeah.
And it can be integrated with any platform today.
Then how can a company can balance customer satisfaction? So with business goals, all said and done, they have a business goal, vision, all that is there. However, we say customer is God and we have to cater to the customer needs. How do you balance these two?
It's quite a challenge, actually. Reason is people have to understand that we are confidently giving a product which is needed by the customer. And there are multiple categories in that. So unless we are very proper in our strategy that this is where I want to target and this is where my customer is, and if I reach him properly using marketing, I think that becomes a easier way. So we will have to evolve strategies based on that. And today, all our management people and MBAs are only sitting and thinking of how to reach customers that way. So I'm sure it's a process that everybody has to follow.
Yeah. So it is a skill that can be acquired, right?
It has to get developed. I don't think so it can be acquired. It has to be developed over a period of time, because I think more and more you meet the clients, then only your experience level will build up. So, and it is also to do with the perception. Because now, as a company, I always perceive everyone is my client. No.
Yeah.
I only understand who my client is and where he is, and I target. And the customer, follows me after that. So customers' perception of us is very important.
And as a company, you should know your target the best.
Absolutely. And it has to be proper strategy to be evolved, that when I launch a product, my product is required by whom? So where do I target? Where is my customer? That is my primary focus. Once I understand that strategy, I think selling becomes very important, or surviving or establishing a brand becomes very important.
Yeah. So can you, like, you have immense experience, like you said, you have met, so many clients. So what is your, if you could, share 2 or 3 experiences with us where you had, inculcated the feedback from the customers and implemented the strategy there?
Specifically, I would suggest, I have worked with Brigade Group, worked with Embassy Group during my tenure at JLL. That these kind of products can be implemented, and this is what is required there. The strategies that we give a lot of data analysis report for that. There is a specific team that we continuously have in JLL, which will keep collecting data on a regular basis. And now we utilize the support of AI also to collect more data. So this data we drive, and we understand the data metrics of specific locations, and we give it to them. And secondly, what happens is customer satisfaction is very important for them, is because what kind of a product you are giving him. If you look at myself, my company's brand name is called Kavabanga. It took almost 4 months for me to come with that name.
Yeah, that again is a very unique name. I was going to ask you that also.
Yeah, the reason is, what am I solving to my customer? So that was the keyword that I took, and we found, and we were finding. So in American Spanish, that means sense of satisfaction.
Oh,
I at least give a sense of satisfaction to them.
Awesome.
This is where we do, and that's my business goal, that I want to satisfy my client. So every company will have certain vision for themselves.
True. Yeah.
This is what I'm going to solve in the market. The moment you start solving it, you are automatically ending into customer satisfaction.
So have you done any marketing innovation through that? Example, like you had mentioned your earlier companies, any particular product or any niche that you created?
There are a couple of things that after I started doing brand strategy that we've done. One, in fact, ID food products. If you see, we were telling them that initially they were spending more on packaging for their brand. The shelf life becomes a huge question mark when it keeps shuttling to multiple locations. And then we told them that why not you implement vending machines in superstores, so it caters to the local geography, rather than giving a product which is pretty old. And right now he can bring in innovation, because the amount of capacity to production they have, they can afford to get vending machines, automated vending machines in superstores, where people can go and buy 1 kg or 2 kg, where instant packaging is given. You go consume it and throw your your packaging, rather than using an old product. So we kind of come up with more of technology innovations. We also come up with unique creative stories to communicate your brand. We kind of work more towards that. We also find new materials to use in packaging, new kind of creative stories to communicate with customer, or express your your success stories to them.
But you also involve yourself in advertisements when you talk about strategies.
Yes, that forms a part of a brand communication.
Definitely.
So what we do is we come up with very unique campaigns. So right now for Kaveri Hospital, we did their 25-year campaign. So the advantage right now I have in being a brand strategist, I don't work with one domain, I work with multiple domains. I work in real estate, manufacturing, healthcare, education, and so on. I work also with the Wales Group for their international schools. We kind of come up with very unique communication to them.
Very interesting, Mr. Chandra Moulish. Like, everything is very unique about you. Your name, your qualification, your company's name. Very nice, very interesting discussing with you. If you would like to share anything else, we can go ahead, or we can move ahead with hand it over to Pankaj.
Yeah, we can.
So thank you so much, Ms. Alagu. Thank you, Chandra Moulish, sir, for sharing the insights about different, customer, interactions, basically how that can lead to the customer satisfaction. So now I believe as all the people might have really learned something and might have captured something. So let's see what people have learned in last 30 minutes, 25-30 minutes. So let me invite Miss Alag. Let me have our quiz leader to ask the quiz. So over to our quiz leader, please. Miss Uma.
Yeah, I'm sure. It was a very good interaction and I just enjoyed watching. And it was really nice to take some good takeaways from the session. So I have an easy question. Like if you had attended the session with little concentration, also you could answer it and get a prize. So solution. So the question is, what is the solution given to ID brand?
Can you please repeat the
Fastest-
question, Uma?
Yeah, the question is, what is the solution given to ID brand?
I am tempted to answer.
Yeah,
No, you are not allowed, Miss Alagu.
Nirupama Guha madam got it right, because
Yeah.
vending machines for automated vending machines for faster goods movement and other things. That's what he shared, and I give it to Nirupama Guha madam for this wonderful and quick answer. Congratulations, Nirupama Guha ma'am, for winning the prize for the day.
Congratulations, Ms. Nirupama, for winning this week's quiz. And you also get an opportunity to unmute yourself and ask any quick question if you want to ask to our guest. So you can ask your question, Ms. Nirupama.
Thank you, Pankaj. I'll come back with the questions a bit later.
Okay, great. So any of our participants, if they would like to have any open questions, you may ask your questions to our guest, Mr. Chandra Moulish. So you may raise your hand and we'll unmute you and you can ask your question. So do we have any questions in the room today? Today, Arul, we don't have people who are asking questions. Today, we don't have Ajit sir. We don't have Mr. Giri today. Huh?
Yes.
Okay. So,
Okay, I can ask one question, a quick question. How important is it to have an effective brand name for an online firm or someone who is into online coaching or teaching? How important is it for them to be more visible through branding?
See, it is depending on whether an individual is doing or a team of people is doing. Okay, so it also depends on what problems you're solving to them. So when you say online training or coaching, if it's done by one individual, so the personal branding will be more effective than a corporate branding for them. If it's going to be a team of people, then obviously they would require a unique brand identity apart from their name, because there are multiple people involved in that. So that becomes more of a corporate identity.
Mm.
That becomes a mandatory requirement today when more than 2 to 3 people are involved in a business. So then looking at your vision, whom you target, it differs. So individuals, I think personal branding plays a major role. So you don't have to come up with a unique name for that. It is just your name has to be publicized.
And how do we handle negative feedback, especially when it comes to Google reviews, which cannot be erased even by the owner? How to handle any such negative reviews, though an owner can accept that?
See, positive and negative reviews are part of our business. But the moment your reviews on positive side increases more, it starts dominating, then automatically the negative reviews go down. So our vision or our focus has to be to increase more positive reviews than the negative review, thinking over that. See, again, a negative review is an important feedback the customer is giving you, what you want to change. So the moment that change happens, again, the positive review is going to increase. And in today's scenario, in this kind of very highly competitive market, there is always an 80-20 ratio, which is always prevailing, 80 positive, 20 negative. Because everybody has a say today. So you only have to look at the ratio doesn't cross 60-40. It doesn't cross 60-40.
Okay, so focus on getting more
Positive
positive
reviews.
reviews.
because successful stories actually inspires more people to come back to you or reach you more. And in fact, in your PR marketing, it is very important for you to express your success stories to people rather than putting all your, this cliched Gandhi Jayanti wishes and all those stuff. The observation days are never a part of your promotions. Today, people have a perception on social media that if you put observation days, 1,000 people are going to have a look at you. No. Crore people are putting that wish. But how different you are in terms of putting your success story, that is what is going to impact you.
Right.
True, agree. So ratio is anything 60 and above should be a good number.
More than 60%, I think naturally you're getting more thing.
Okay, great. So I hope he answers your question, Ms. Nirupama. Right, that works. Okay, fine. So we have Ms. Uma. Ms. Uma, you can unmute yourself and ask a quick question, please.
Thank you, Pankaj sir, for this opportunity. My question to Chandra sir is that what is the impact or the influence of branding in today's market? Because branding takes considerable money, effort, and time to build. But sometimes if the brands don't keep up the promises they have given in the initial stage, so what is that going to get influenced on the customer or consumer's mind? Because sometimes the sachet will be much better than the original bigger version of the same product. So in that sense, will the customer keep sticking to the brand or they keep moving for better options?
Yeah. I understood your question. First and foremost, if you feel that your product is not going to satisfy your customer, it means that you have not defined your product well.
Okay.
Unless you are clear about your product, and this is what you are committing to your customer, and this is what you are marketing to your customer, why would a customer raise a complaint? That's only your product. You are only defining it. The problem comes in when you define a product and you market it differently in the publicity.
Okay.
In a different way, or show not most of the people in today's scenario don't use their real product image and they use the stock images to publicize their product. The moment that happens, obviously you're already failed about 40 to 50% of what your commitment is on.
Yeah.
So it always is important for you to market only what you are selling.
Yeah, because why I ask this question is that I see many brands don't keep up the level of promise they make these days. So I just want to understand from a marketer's point of view, from a person who's already involved in marketing, to understand whether people are sticking just because there are big brands associated with such products, or they are just moving just because it doesn't satisfy them.
One thing you need to understand, in today's scenario, for any product there is a buyer.
Okay.
Every customer, see, not every consumer goes buys an ITC. One customer will buy an ITC, one customer will buy with Tata, one customer might go buy with some other brand. There are still unnamed, FSSA approved or ISO driven products are also selling in the market.
Okay.
Aren't we seeing sold in the gourmet stores without any approval?
Yeah, right.
It depends on what you communicate. So there are two things: how you market, what you market.
True.
The problem comes in when it is not properly communicated to them.
Okay.
When you communicate to them, it is the option of the customer whether to buy you or not. He is not going to feel let down because you are not adhered to that.
Okay.
You have already defined what you want to sell.
Okay. Okay, got it. Thank you so much for the response. And it was a great session. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Uma. Thank you, Ms. Chandra. So do we have anyone else who would like to ask quick question? And if we have, we can, otherwise we'll move forward. Anyone else? So I would like to invite Ms. Rashmi for the word of thanks. Miss Rashmi, over to you for the vote of thanks, please. Oh, so before vote of thanks, sorry, for the summary, please. Okay, I'm so sorry. So, Miss Rashmi, you're going to have this summary, please. I'm so sorry. You can unmute, please. We can't hear you. No, we are unable to hear you.
Facing technical issues. No, ma'am, we are not able to hear you.
You can join in. You can join in. Yeah,
How
it's
now
there.
accessible? Yes.
Yes, kind of okay. Okay, I'll just summarize, and it was a great discussion. Thank you, Alagu ma'am, and thank you, Chandra sir. I always like to listen about strategy and business strategy and marketing. That's my subject too. So it was an interesting discussion. I'll just try to summarize what Sir and Alagu ma'am had just discussed. The first question was how do we integrate customer feedback in the marketing strategy? So as Sir said, Sir was giving an example of the real estate industry, and it has transformed post 2013. Initially, the developers, the real estate agents in the real estate market used to push the product in the face of the customer. From there, we have moved on to a customer feedback mechanism. That's a change. So customer feedback is extremely important, no matter which industry. We have to really understand what the customer wants, and that has to be integrated in our marketing strategy, in our sales strategy also. The second question was, what facets should a customer-centric leader should have? Sir put it very simply, and I really love that. Brand empathy is extremely important, as Sir said. Best leaders have got brand empathy. It conveys to the customer what you are. You have to listen. I think so. Listening. This is what I felt. I perceived from what Sir was saying. Is you have to listen to your customer very carefully. What he's trying to say. What does he want? I think so. Everything cannot be spelled clearly by the customer. They are under the line, between the line messages that the customer is giving through various communication as to what he wants or what she wants. We need to understand what the customer needs and convey and we also we need to convey the vision. The leader who conveys the vision to the team is also important for being a customer-centric leader. We have to build trust among customers. That's also vital. That's what Sir said. So how does technology can be leveraged to create a customer-centric strategy? How do you automate your system is important. The way you communicate with your customer is important. We have to move from the verbal format to a more technological format. You have to use AI in a proper way. We have to not only analyze the feedback, but we have to also use it to meet our vision and our strategy. How do we balance customer satisfaction with business goals in marketing? We need to clearly define our strategy and implement it effectively. The more customers you meet, the more effective you're going to be to decode and to decipher what the customer is saying to you. So meeting more and more customers is very important. And in the first part of the discussion, Sir had said he has met around 30,000 customers, and not necessarily everybody has been converted. A very less percent has been converted, but each interaction with the customer has been extremely important for him. Okay. The last thing that Sir had discussed with us is about his personal experience, where he gave an example of ID, where he said it has been advised to the customer, to the client, saying that instead of having the package, spending so much on packaging, ID is selling the idli paste, as we know, it's a packaged product. So instead of having that packaging where you're spending so much of money, you might as well have automated vending machines at the store where you supply fresh paste to the customer. So this is the crux of what we discussed today. And thank you so much for giving me an opportunity to summarize. This is my first time. Excuse me if I've not been too perfect at it. Thank you so much.
Pankaj, unmute.
Yeah. Thank you. So thank you, Ms. Rashmi, for summarizing the session in your best effort. So that was really nice. And thank you, our Chandra Moulish sir, for taking up the session so well and giving us the insights about it. So I would like to invite, before we move forward, I would like to invite Miss Nirupama for the vote of thanks. And Arul, I would also like you to share about our networking meet, which is coming on 13th. So you can also share about it once we have a vote of thanks. So Miss Nirupama, over to you for the vote of thanks, please.
Thank you, Pankaj. Yeah, thank you. So thank you so much, Chandra Moulish. Thank you for the very insightful information. Today, when I saw the topic name, Brand and Marketing Strategies, so it was very interesting. And definitely, this is a topic where, with each person that we keep talking, we keep getting innovative information and ideas. It varies from person to person. And undoubtedly, it was not same thing for us. It was very new and informative for us. So once again, thank you so much for all the information that you shared with us on the brand marketing strategy while being customer-centric in everything. And that's very important as well now for the all the answers that you provided for Alagu was comprehensive. So thank you so much. It was well timed today, I must say. Over the last few weeks that we have noticed, very well timed. And that's a very thankful for the kind of questions and the comprehensive answers that we had to experience today. And Alagu, it's a wonderful and great job that your thought-provoking questions were so important, but you held the crux of the whole discussion, and the deep engagement that you had with our guest, and that too on double-clicking on certain concepts were really commendable. And it's truly something which I can learn for next time. So, and very well timed again. The timing goes for both you and Chandra Moulish once again. And thank you, Rashmi. I was not aware it was your first time that you're summarizing the entire session. It was so effective. It was a good job done. Thank you. And at least for those who joined a couple of minutes late, because I think Chennai, it's raining and kind of little traffic. If someone has joined late, I think they've covered up with all the concepts that they have missed out. So I think the summarizing is actually interesting and very good. And before me sharing about the next week episode, let me quickly share again the purpose of this community. And for all those visitors who are attending this for the first time, Leaders Connect 360 is a hybrid model, a leadership community where every Wednesday evening 6:30 to 7:15, we invite a top management leader from a reputed corporate company like we had today to suggest some solutions for our real-time leadership challenges, like the experience we had from Mr. Chandra Moulish talks today from our guest. So kindly follow all our social media platforms to get updated. Arul has been posting here in the chat box, so kindly go through this. And it's simple to join. Just please click social media links, which has been posted right below in the chat box. And it gives me, once again, an immense pleasure to thank our guest, Chandra Moulish, and our panel discussion leader, Alagu Lakshmanan, for spending your valuable evening time in sharing your experience and insights. And all the guests and others who are there in this house, please accept a gesture of thanking through a medium of thanking video. Arul would be sharing this now. So we request all the new members and visitors, please stay back till the end of the session as we give an opportunity to introduce ourselves with each other and we can network better. Thank you once again, Chandra Moulish and Alagu Lakshmanan.
Thank you so much, Nirupama, and for the one of its kind of vote of thanks today we had. So thank you so much for that as well. So Arul, can we have a thanking video, please, to our guest and our visitors?
That was an awesome thank you note, Nirupama. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Again, it's my first time today. Vote of thanks.
That's the reason I told that was one of its kind of vote of thanks today. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Over to you, Arun.
Thank you so much, Arul. So, Chandra sir, if you want to share anything before you leave, so anything for our visitors from your side.
So it was indeed, it was a great pleasure. I think interacting with you, interacting with Alagu specifically, in a certain point, as Nirupama said, that she was double checking that, she wanted the correct answer to be given to people. So, thank you so much for that, Algu. And Nirupama, wonderful word of thanks from you. And Rashmi ma'am for summarizing that. I think, it has been a learning for me as well, interacting with you, people coming up with different questions. That is the big plus that I get out of being in marketing, that I get to meet a lot of people and I get new questions every day.
Thank you so much. So, Arul, over to you for our networking